What is a forward rate and how do you calculate it? So let's talk about forward rates here. A forward rate is just an agreement to have an interest rate over a certain period of time. So we have a timeline here. We have year 0, year 1, and year 2, and we have an interest rate between period 0, between period 1 and period 0 and period 1, and that will be our forward rate for the first period, which is also just our interest rate. But we don't know what this is, and we want to calculate that. We need one more piece of information. We need to know how much is the interest rate over the 2-year period. So let's also have a number for there. Let's say that's 4%. So what the forward rate is if we were to lock in this amount, how much would this be? If this amount over here is for the 2-year period, if there was to be no arbitrage opportunity, well, what would that be? If I put in money here at, let's say I put in $100 here and I leave it in the account for 4% over 2 years, I'm going to end up with some amount of money here. But if I put the money in at 3% and then I wanted to end up with the same amount of money, well, this interest rate, what is that going to be? So here we have our formula. 1 plus the forward rate is equal to the interest rate for the longer duration period, and this is our interest rate for the shorter duration period. It doesn't have to be just ones in year 1 and year 2. You could have a bunch of it could go on for quite a while, and you just have to realize that this is going to be a longer period and this is going to be a shorter period. So let's plug in the numbers and let's see what we get. So this is going to be equal to 1 plus 0.04, and that's going to be for 2 years in our case. And then this is going to be for 1 plus 0.03, but only for 1 year. And what do we get? Well, let's bring it out handy. Let's bring out a calculator. Wow, it's jumping all over. Okay, 1.04. %. Okay, so we're going to end up with 5%. So it says that's what a forward rate is for this. And now let's think, does that make sense to us? Well, the yield to maturity over this 2-year period is 4%. So the average kind of interest rate is going to be 4%. And this is less than the average. So if we have a period of time that's less and the average is more, well, we need to have something that's kind of balances it out. So yeah, that does make sense. We do need to have an interest rate of 5%. So that's kind of what a forward rate is. You need to know that this is the formula you use. It's once you get the hang of it, it'll make sense. There's a bunch of variations if you're dealing with things like APR. You need to account for some more information, or you're dealing with like continuous compounding. But for the most part, this will work. You just need to adjust the formula a little. The forward rate is just the agreed upon time period between 2 durations of time, and you just need to check afterwards to make sure that it makes sense logically. Is it going to be working out to be the average? So hopefully that was helpful. See you next time.